Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is episode 36 today, and we are talking about familiar food problems. Five familiar food problems. I'm going to tag a few people, see if they can join us, and then we will get jumping in. I'm going to wait for Hannah to kind of hop on here. And just tag in some of you lovely people in our group. We have quite a few new people this week, and here we go. Here it comes. Hey, Shannon. So if you're watching live, say hello so we can see who's on and watching us. So say hello and say where you're from. Say hi, say where you're from. And we're really excited to get started. Hannah, I have not touched on anything. You were so quick. And I tagged some people. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. So we're talking about 5 familiar food problems that we see with our clients. And there's really like one root cause. And Hannah and I, had like a therapy session this morning between her and I. And like it really came back to this one thing. So again, say hi if you're in the comments. Hi, Shannon. Thanks for hopping on live. Tell us where you're from. And as you're good, awesome. Michelle's listening while driving, no problem. So as we're going through these 5 familiar food problems, I just want you to comment below which ones you're like, oh my God, that's me. Okay, so just comment below because you'll see that you're not alone. That's a big part of this food freedom confidence group in this community, and all of our empowered eating programs is that we want to build a community where you're not alone and you're supported and you can show up how you are. Things that are going on in your life that are tough, like we want you to know that you're supported no matter what that is. And it's not always related to food, which we're going to talk about. So Hannah, do you want to do our usual little intro?
Yeah, and I also just want to touch base, like this group goes against the grain, right? So, but me and Sierra were talking earlier, it's like it might sound radical and like, oh my God, that's totally crazy, but there's something deep inside you that is like, oh my God, that is exactly what I want. And that's just so powerful in the work that we do in eating psychology is that eating can be simple, it can be nourishing, it can be creative, and you can really enjoy it. And it also does not have to be your life. Eating doesn't have to be your life. And we hear that a lot. It's like, I want to eat to live, not live to eat. And I kind of like that in a way because, yeah, it's like live your life and allow food to be a part of it, but not everything. So, welcome, welcome. Just wanted to get that out there. Welcome to Food Freedom Confidence Discussion. I'm Hannah Hibbs, and this is Sierra Spencer. We are donut eating, veggie loving, eating psychology, mind body coaches, and Sierra is a diet recovery, weight neutral coach. I am a yoga instructor and a meditation leader. And, we are here to empower you around food, to empower you into who you are so you can take care of yourself in the way that you want to. We often hear we want more of a healthy balance. And so we are here to help you create that healthy balance in your life because your life is unique to you and you shouldn't be following somebody else to to tell you what you need. It's about tapping into who you are and what you need for yourself. And that's like the practice of what we teach. And so this 5 list of familiar foods problems is it's so common, right? And I think it's so common that we don't think it's a big deal because we're like, oh, this is just life, right? This is just what I do. But really, these familiar problems create a whole spew of issues. And so we want to break them down, not necessarily break them down too much, but just really bring light to them. And then we have a solution for you at the end of this call.
Yeah. All right. So I love what you said, Hannah, because these seem like really simple, like easy, like no big deal. But that's kind of part of the problem is that we're not awake to these little simple things that are some of the biggest common food issues that we see with clients and overall, right? Like it's just kind of covering up what could be going on underneath if you're doing any of these behaviors. Okay. So again, we're not going to get into full detail here. We're just going to give you the list of the 5 things we want you to reflect and then we're going to give you the solution at the end, and we'll guide you toward there. Okay, we're not going to leave you hanging. But the number one food problem we see that's really familiar is skipping breakfast. Or, which I know everyone's heard that. Oh my God, eat breakfast, eat breakfast, eat breakfast. But you know what? We've all heard that, but so many of us are waiting way too long to eat, or we're doing intermittent fasting. And so what's happening is we're messing up our metabolism. So skipping breakfast and waiting too long to eat is like one of the number one familiar food problems that we see with our clients.
Number two is nighttime eating. We hear this all the time. Are you a nighttime eater? At the end of the day, you're like, put the kids to bed and you're trying to decompress from your day and you just can't get out of the pantry or the fridge or the freezer for that matter. So like you just keep going back for more. It's like this like uncontrollable thing that you need to do at the end of the day. That is a big, big problem that we see.
Yep. And number three is the restrict binge cycle. So what that looks like is you're like, okay, it's Monday. I am going to start fresh. I'm going to eat clean. I'm going to not eat sugar. I'm going to, eat lots of vegetables. I'm not going to do carbs. And then it's like, you're doing so good. And then it's like Wednesday, Thursday rolls around and you're like, someone invites you out for margaritas and you're like, oh no, I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. I'm just going to like have water and I'm just going to like, I'm not going to eat the chips and salsa. I'm just going to like be really, really good. And so you make it through. You're like, yes, I'm so strong. Like, woo. And then like Friday hits, Saturday hits, and you're just like, I can't do it anymore. And you just eat, you go to a birthday party and you have a slice of cake, and then one slice of cake turns into 18 slices of cake. And then you're like, oh my God. Okay. And then Sunday's back to planning for your healthy, clean eating week. If that sounds familiar, that's the restrict binge cycle. So that is a really big common problem. And that's just one scenario, right? Like restricting and binging, it could be for me, it was like every day. It was like every day I was really, really good. And then like 3-4 o'clock hit and I would just be like eating my face off. I was like in the pantry, couldn't stop eating, right? So this restrict binge cycle is a really big food problem we see with our clients.
Such a common thing. And it is common. So number 4 is you eat when you're stressed or emotional. So food becomes your comfort. It becomes that thing that it's like your go-to whenever you feel any kind of thing. Because what it does is it soothes you, right? It comforts you. It makes you calm down a little bit. It makes you feel full. It makes you feel all the feelings, and it tastes good. But then there's this guilt that comes afterwards. It's the shame that comes afterwards that really gets you feeling bad about yourself. So this always need to like use food. Food is your number one stress reliever.
Yep. And then the last familiar food problem we see is this all or nothing mentality. Or you always have this feeling that you're on track or you're off track. You're eating all the vegetables or you're eating all the donuts. Like there's no just like gray. It's either like, or even mentally, it's like I'm either doing really good or I'm really bad. And I remember my husband would be like, how was your day? And I'd be like, oh, it was so bad. And it was bad because of what I ate, right? It was like I was constantly on this on and off track. Okay. So that's another really familiar food problem that we see.
So what do all of these familiar food problems have in common? And also like comment below, let us know which one is like the one that shows up for you the most, because I'm sure there's one of them that shows up for you the most. So the most common like thing that we do to make these happen is we're putting ourselves and our needs last. So how many of you are like always doing something for everybody else? Work comes first, your kids come first, your husband comes first, the laundry comes first, and you are forgetting to really take care of yourself on the basic level. Going to the bathroom when you need to, actually realizing when you're hungry and eating, and like the whole hence of waiting too long to eat. It's like our basic needs aren't being met. And when we are not taking care of ourselves and we're neglecting ourselves, then these food issues are going to rise up.
Yep.
over and over again, and it becomes like this like out of control feeling that you're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I feel so out of control with food, and food becomes the problem.
Yeah.
But is it really the problem, Sierra?
A lot of times, no. A lot of times, like Michelle's like raising her hand, like that's me, right? And a lot of times, like when you're constantly living in this stress state, this slows down your metabolism and it slows down your metabolic power and your thermogenic efficiency. So what that means, thermogenic efficiency just means your body's ability to burn calories is slowed down because we're constantly living in stress. And we do that we create more stress by skipping breakfast, nighttime eating, the restrict binge cycle, using food to cope, that all or nothing mentality, all those familiar food problems kind of put you in this like low level state of stress, like constantly. So we teach like what is underneath these eating behaviors. And that's exactly what we're going to teach in our upcoming workshop called Overcoming Binge and Emotional Eating. Create a healthy balance the eating psychology way. Okay, because we know there's lots of different ways to eat healthy and like get on track. And those are all great, but we want to teach you how to trust yourself from an eating psychology perspective, because that's what Hannah and I are trained in. And we've had a lot of experience with eating psychology with the hundreds of clients we've had in the last probably 10 years combined coaching. Okay. So we're going to have this workshop all around overcoming binge and emotional eating. So if you have any of these 5 familiar food problems, this workshop is going to help you. We're going to be going over step by step how to start overcoming some of these emotional eating, some binge eating. We're going to be kind of dissecting these, looking at each one. And this is a very popular workshop we run because it's different than you've probably heard. Okay. So we're going to really work on some belief shifting and some mindset work too. Because we know a lot of you say, like, I really need to get my mind right. Like, I know what to do. I just don't know how and why I'm not doing it. We're going to work on that as well in this workshop.
Yeah, super excited. This is seriously one of our most popular, and I think we can do it over and over and over again because it's simple reminders that we often forget because we are not taking care of ourselves because we're moving too fast in life. We're like programmed to think that we have to look a certain way to be loved, to be worthy. So we get back into the cycle. It's like this loop that we just keep creating because we are not getting to the root cause of really what's underneath it and what's happening. And that's what we're going to talk about. Also, there's like these unrealistic beauty standards that we're always trying to reach. And so when we feel like we're not there and we're not able to get to that point, then what do? Most likely we end up trying to skip meals, reduce our calories, start dieting, start trying to focus more on our health and more on exercise and more on our diet. And it's just like that creates this whole other layer of issues because then your whole life becomes food, right? And then when people come to us, they're like, I don't want my life to be just food, right? Because you are meant for so much more, right? Life is meant to be lived. You're here to live it, to experience it, to grow, to evolve, as well as really live to your full potential. Like, get to know you. Who are you underneath? And if you get all this food issues out of the way, who are you? What impact are you going to have in your families, in your community, and people that you meet at the grocery store because you feel so good and empowered in who you are and what you eat, and you're like, I got this. This workshop is incredible. It is going to empower you to feel so good in your body about how to eat and like what you're eating. I'm telling you, like, I don't know. I get excited about it because I just love eating psychology and what we do and what we talk about because too many people are just in that cycle, right? The restrict binge cycle. And we just want to help you get off it and feel strong and empowered and feel good about and confident in what you're eating.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going to teach in our workshop. So we're going to have 2 workshops coming up. So we thank you for voting in the poll because we're like, great, we got your guys' preferences. We're going to be doing a daytime workshop and an evening workshop. And we are going to give you all the details about the workshop, the Overcoming Binge and Emotional Eating workshop tomorrow. So be on the lookout for a post that has the details. We'll have a registration link. That way you can get registered. You'll get reminders because we know life is busy. So it'll be nice to have like a little reminder, like, hey, the workshop's tonight. So, and it will be recorded. We'll send out the recording about a week after we run it live. That way you guys will have about a week to watch it. So we got you. And, you know, we believe nutrition is really important, but it's only half the story. What you eat and how you eat, and like you as the eater is the other half. And that's what we're going to be diving into with this overcoming binge and emotional eating. So if you're interested and you want us to tag you in our post with the details for this workshop, comment below me, workshop, I'm interested, and we'll make sure that we get you tagged in the right post so you can register for the workshop.
Awesome. We'll see you guys there and look out for the details tomorrow.
Yes. Bye, guys.